in Europe, but I report into the database product management. And I'm very happy to welcome you to this 1-hour presentation about the Oracle Database Backup Cloud Service, which is one of many Oracle public cloud services. So let's, oops. It seems that I have a little trouble to go to the next slide. So, okay, now it works. Sorry for this. So this is my agenda. First of all, we'll describe the Oracle public cloud offering at a high level. Then we'll focus on the database backup cloud service, which is, as I said, one of many others. And it allows to securely backup any Oracle databases to our public cloud. So I'm going to go into enough details to really get you started practically on using this service. I will also give you an example of a third-party product that leverages this cloud offering. But please do not get lost in the details. And if there is one thing to remember, it's that this service is really easy to use. At the end, I will take a few questions. At this time, your audio line is muted, so please write down your questions and we'll try to address them in the end. Okay, so this is the usual legal slide. Please note that this presentation is for information only and it cannot be inserted as is in any contract. So I suppose most of you know that Oracle now offers a comprehensive number of services. We have a cloud strategy and lots of services. We have also a roadmap for future services. And from infrastructure as a service on the left side of the screen to platform as a service and software as a service, we now provide a complete and integrated collection of services, all with an easy interface and a consistent interface. Infrastructure as a service on the left side of the screen is where we can provide a virtual environment for Oracle or even third-party software, and you can bring your own license. For platform as a service, we provide fully managed database environments and fully managed application server platforms deployed in virtual environments. And on the right-hand side of the screen, we also provide, and we have been providing that for a while, software as a service, where you can deploy and run Oracle applications in the cloud. Here is a more detailed list of the many services. The database and backup services are typically in the middle of the screen, platform services. And these platform services, as you know, they are using the same products customers have been using for decades, mostly the relational Oracle database and also the WebLogic application server. But it's not limited to these ones. We also offer other platform services, and examples are in business intelligence or even documents. Document services is a relatively new service where we have something that is like a Dropbox for businesses with security features. And the strategy is also to include many different development services, like Node.js, for instance. But at the infrastructure level, on the left-hand side of the screen, you notice that we also provide a storage cloud service. And this is very important for what we have in mind today, the backup service, because we need some storage containers at the infrastructure level to send our backups to. And I should mention also at a high level that because cloud computing is all about choice, Oracle wants to give you complete choice of deployment using open standards. Customers can deploy on-premise on the left-hand side, or on the public cloud, or on both, with even the ability to move resources between the different environments. So this is really what we want to achieve with our public cloud offering. There is a common value proposition, I believe, to all the many public cloud services. You can see here how it is itemized, but I think the common value proposition underneath that list is to allow IT departments to execute more quickly on business opportunities and to deploy resources more efficiently. So, what are the typical use cases? Here is a little list. And as you can see, one such possible use case for public cloud services is to leverage this cloud as a destination for off-site backups. This presentation is going to discuss that particular service extensively, but don't forget, one thing is the most important thing is that it's a simple thing to use. There is nothing very complicated in that particular service. Maybe it's the best service to use as the first one to discover the Oracle Public Cloud, because it's so easy to set up and to use. So let's get started with this backup service. Things happen, bad things happen, and they can happen to your database. You can lose a server, you can lose a disk, there may be human errors. And with this technology, we have an automated, easy to use, off-premise backup solution. But because it is off-premise, it focuses on physical failures and how to recover this sort of unplanned downtime in a very cost-effective manner. It's not a replacement for local backups. You still need to have local backups, but that service complements them, and it can even be part of a disaster recovery solution. So what can you do with this backup cloud service, which you see here at the center of the screen? First of all, you can use it to backup on-premise local databases, obviously, but not only those ones. You can also backup databases that are already running as a platform service hosted on the Oracle Public Cloud. So it addresses both local on-premise databases and databases that you have created already in the Oracle Public Cloud. Those databases, of course, they also need to be backed up remotely. And all that with the click of a button, and with many advantages that I am listing on the right-hand side of the screen, and that we are going to explore in greater detail in the next slides of my presentation. So let's see and review the typical use cases for this service. It's a platform solution. It's a platform solution. The main idea behind the scene is that you no longer have to invest upfront into more hardware like disks or tape libraries, and you can directly use a cloud service which is easy and secure with the flexibility of the pay-as-you-need model. So let's talk a little bit about pricing. There are two models. First of all, there is a non-metered model, where you pay a flat fee of $33 per terabyte and per month, even if you do not consume all the allocated capacity. Alternatively to this, there is also a metered or per-use approach. This approach perhaps might be more cost-effective beyond a certain threshold if you use the service extensively, but you can see with the $33 per terabyte and per month that this service is really cost-effective and in fact cheaper, even if you go for the unmetered approach. In the case of the metered approach, many things are taken into account to compute the price. But this model is also based on prepaid cloud subscription credits. So in other words, even when you go for the metered approach, customers have to buy in advance a certain amount of service, like $10,000 or euros, and then they can monitor how quickly they consume this credit as they are using the service. You do this monitoring from a service console that displays that sort of dashboard where you can see how much capacity you have been using with this service. So let's go into the details of technically how does it work. When we were designing this cloud service, we did not want to reinvent the wheel. Rather, the idea was to use existing technologies and cloud enable them. For database backups, of course, the tool of choice is and has been Recovery Manager for many years. So the idea has been to extend Recovery Manager so that it can also be used to take database backups into the Oracle Cloud. No need for any new tools. What we have done is that from Recovery Manager, the Oracle Public Cloud simply looks like another tape media. With the same commands you would use to backup to a local tape library or tape drive, you can now backup remotely into the Oracle Public Cloud. So backup files are transparently broken into binary objects, which are then uploaded to the cloud transparently by Recovery Manager. A very important feature is that we enforce encryption at the source. All backups are locally encrypted before they are sent to Oracle. We at Oracle, we cannot touch your data. We keep your data and you keep this encryption key locally. And this encryption, which is once again mandatory and part of the service, is even available for databases that do not have advanced security licenses. It's provided by the service. It's even available for standard edition databases that, of course, do not typically have advanced security licenses. Let's talk about the support metrics. You see that that service is not limited to backing up 12c databases. We support all the major releases and editions of the database from 10G release 2 to 12c and from standard edition to enterprise edition. So you can back up all your relational Oracle databases. So how do you get started? There are 4 simple steps to get started. The first step is to subscribe online to the service. And I'll show you at the end where you can go. You can go to actually cloud.oracle.com. There's a portal from where you can subscribe to the service. After your subscription, The setup is done by downloading and configuring a new library that interfaces with Recovery Manager. And we call that the module also. You do this download by running a little installer. It's a simple thing to do. It just requires a Java runtime environment, Java 1.5 or later, to run it. This installer doesn't have a GUI interface. It just has a command line, and the installer, when you run it with its command line, will download the library appropriate to the platform it is running on. It will also create a configuration file and also an Oracle wallet where the credentials are stored. Then the last and easy step is to configure. It's a one-time configuration. You configure Recovery Manager so that it can use this new channel to take backups to the cloud. And then you're ready to go. So it's really a very simple and straightforward process to set up the service and get started. I'm going to show you what it looks like when you run this installer. Here's an example output of this backup module installation. But the one thing to remember is that really this installer doesn't ask any complicated questions. You see that you run opc install.char with a couple of command line arguments. And it mostly downloads the library and pre-populate a configuration file. And you should end up with 3 files: a wallet, once again holding credentials, an initialization file or parameter file containing the URL of the cloud service and other parameters, username, wallet location, things like that. And last but not least, the RMAN module, which RMAN uses transparently to see the cloud as a tape library. So if you want to see more details, once you have run the installer, you see on that screen our 3 files: the cloud module, the wallet, and the OPC parameter file or configuration file. You see it's a very simple file with a couple of lines: OPC host, OPC wallet, container, etc. So couple of parameters. Then the configuration you do from Recovery Manager is done by running this configure channel device type SBT. And SBT should not be surprising because SBT is the keyword for system backup to tape. So we basically configure a new tape device as seen from Recovery Manager. And in this configuration, you pass in some parameters, such as where is the OPC P file or OPC parameter file. From a usage perspective, the service is extremely easy to use by database administrators, just with classical Recovery Manager commands. And data goes over the public network, or even in some cases, customers having access to some customers may have access to faster connections into the Oracle public cloud, and that could be a way to have a better bandwidth when uploading files to an Oracle storage container. But by default, it would just be sent over the internet by HTTPS. If we look at the various parameters for that service, they are contained in the parameter file, OPC sid.aura. I think most of them you do not need to touch. They will be set up as you do the initial configuration. There is perhaps one that you might need to change or might like to change. Is the last one on that screen, the chunk size, OPC chunk size. You see it's got a default value of 10 megabytes. And I'm going to explain what's the purpose of that parameter in the next slide. Recovery Manager, you understand, streams backup data into the cloud module. And typically backups are broken into binary pieces of a certain chunk size, and the chunk size is decided after the value of this parameter, 20 megabytes by default. Then each piece is uploaded to a storage container in the Oracle public cloud with the additional feature that failed transmissions are retried automatically. And then of course, if we were not doing it like that, a backup could be one huge file that perhaps would then if the communication was broken in the middle of a transmission, you would have a lot of problems to really upload any backups. But with this technology of breaking each backup into smaller sized pieces and retrying failed transmissions, we have a much better way to upload anything into the public storage containers. Crucial thing for good performance still will be compression. Compression will help us to conserve bandwidth by reducing the size of your backups before they are sent to the cloud. And the good news is also similar to encryption, that advanced compression is not required to use RMAN compression when using that service. This service offers you the technology to compress Recovery Manager backups before you send them to the cloud. So to get more details on this, to give you more details on this, here is an example of setting the compression level before you take a database backup. You see, configure compression algorithm medium. And actually, this is because we are backing up a 12c database. In that case, 12c allows several new compression algorithms. The default one is basic. Basic is basically, in fact, the same algorithm that we used in previous versions, with good compression, without severely impacting on performance. In 12c, we also have low as a compression level for use when reduced CPU utilization is a priority over compression ratio. Or medium. Medium is the recommended option. It offers similar characteristics to basic, but it uses a different and more efficient algorithm. We also have high, where maximum available compression is achieved at the expense of more CPU consumption. Once again, the recommended level for cloud backups of Oracle 12c is medium. And you see, this is an optional parameter, but free to use with this service. The other crucial thing that we already mentioned is encryption, and encryption is mandatory. Compression is optional, encryption is mandatory. We enforce it. If you do not backup, if you do not encrypt a backup, you'll get an error message. Using this encryption is easy as well. You can just set it up by executing, prior to taking the backup, a set encryption on with a password. There are no additional costs, even for databases that do not have advanced security licenses, or even for standard edition databases. But remember, the keys are kept at your site, not in the cloud. if you forget the password, you'll be unable to restore from this backup. Here is an example. I hope it's not too difficult to read. Is an example of how extremely easy it is to use. You set your encryption key and you take a backup. Here it's a backup of just one data file, but everything you can do with Recovery Manager to a tape drive, you can do with Recovery Manager to this cloud, to this backup cloud service. And it is very similar how you can take a backup or restore and recover the whole database, a table space, a data file here, a data file 4. So we've seen the client side, right? The client side really depends on this little bit of configuration and mostly on this module that interfaces with Recovery Manager, so that you can see the Oracle Public Cloud as a tape drive. But let's now briefly discuss the server side of the service solution, the back end. Our solution is based on our Oracle Storage Cloud service. And this is an OpenStack storage layer really developed using industry standards. You can think of it as an object store supporting simple HTTP requests, allowing you to send an object by HTTP, to put an object there, or to request it back. In fact, I want to say that there is no need to understand how it is implemented or to worry about its complexity. It is just Oracle's responsibility to make this storage layer scalable and highly available. But the one thing you may be interested in is to know that every object that you store in this storage layer is saved on at least 3 nodes across this cloud. So it's really highly redundant, state-of-the-art architecture. And very interestingly, because this storage service is developed with the standards, it is compliant with OpenStack standard. So it allows actually some third-party products, such as Cloudberry, to connect to it and to view it. Cloudberry, that I mentioned on the last line of that slide, is a Canadian company. They're an Oracle partner, and their charter is to provide cloud-based backup and file management services. They have a certain number of tools with nice GUI interfaces that can run on Windows. And one of their tools is a Windows GUI to browse OpenStack storage containers. It's called the Cloudberry Explorer for OpenStack. And that one is a freeware. You can download it, set it up on a Windows computer, and use it to view the Oracle storage container that the backup service uses. So here is an example of the dialog box in Cloudberry Explorer for OpenStack, where you would create a connection to an Oracle Storage Cloud Service account. So you see, you have to abide by certain rules, certain conventions, like the username must be storage-your Oracle Public Cloud domain, colon, your Oracle Public Cloud username. So you have to format at the time you configure Cloudberry Explorer for OpenStack. You have to abide by those conventions to enter your username. Of course, you get also a password. This is your Oracle Public Cloud username and password that you would put there. And there is an authentication service that is normally preset when you have selected in Cloudberry Explorer for OpenStack when you have selected Oracle. And you also select the data center that you use for the Oracle Public Cloud Service. So it's very nice because once this configuration is done, you have a tool which is a little bit FileZilla looking that you can use to upload a file to a storage container or to get it back. Of course, you don't need to use such tool because Recovery Manager is normally the tool of choice that is able to get back a backup and make sense of it, because it may be broken into many files. But it's just good to highlight that Oracle has developed this solution just using open standards. And I would mention another product of the Cloudberry family. That one is really it's another thing they have done to create a GUI tool on top of Oracle's database backup cloud service. And they call it the Cloudberry Backup for Oracle Database. So what this is, it's a tool to hide the complexity of Recovery Manager commands, which probably is very good for people who do not know Recovery Manager commands well, or they do not want to learn Recovery Manager. So from this GUI tool, you have a GUI interface on top of Recovery Manager that hides the complexity of these commands. But it also provides a few additional services, such as allowing you to schedule regular backups or to monitor backup processes as they are executed in real time. But that tool is not like the Explorer, it's not a freeware. That tool is subject to licenses. However, now if we go back to the Oracle offering, I want to also highlight that this service is not only to backup local databases. And remember, this service can also be used to backup instances of the database cloud service. You know that Oracle offers as a platform service a way to deploy a database in the cloud, not only its backups, but a whole database hosted on a virtual machine in the Oracle public cloud. So, and that screen shows you the wizard from the public cloud console, where you can create a new instance, understand a new VM hosting a database. And you see that among the various parameters, there is a backup and recovery configuration set of options. And you can select a backup destination. There is a list of values, and you could say, I want no backups whatsoever, or I could only select local backups, so that the virtual machine has some disks dedicated to a fast recovery area, and you can take local backups that are stored on other disks of the same virtual machine. But you can also, and this is the case on my screen, you can select as a backup destination both cloud storage and local storage. And that's the way you set up the Oracle backup cloud service for this database hosted in the cloud. And obviously, you need to specify a cloud storage container and a cloud storage username and password. So the container would be a container created as a sort of directory in the storage cloud service, and then it's a destination for sending the remote offsite backups for this database. Architecturally speaking, it would look like this. You have on that slide a DBCS instance or a database cloud service instance with both local and cloud storage for backups. So the VM hosting the database gets a flash of fast recovery area, which is mounted under /U03, where local backups are stored, plus a secondary destination for off-site backups using the service we are discussing in this presentation, and this is sent outside of the VM. So if you were to lose the VM hosting your database entirely, you could still restore and recover that database. And in this automated configuration, off-site backups are even taken automatically every day. So as a summary, we have a very simple to use service that addresses small to large organizations. It allows you to take backups outside of your buildings. It's very easy to integrate with within existing policies as just one additional target. And perhaps it's one of the best services to discover the Oracle Public Cloud offering. If you need to still find more information, learn more, here are a couple of suggestions. First of all, we have an online documentation. We also have a detailed white paper, and I give you a few links here. We also have a frequently asked questions document available on my Oracle support. But maybe why wouldn't you try it out for yourself? We have a way to request a 30-day free trial for that particular service, even if you do not subscribe to other services. Yeah, let's clarify that the different services are independent from each other. So you could potentially subscribe to the database backup cloud service without subscribing to the database platform cloud service proper. And the way to try it out would be to go to the main portal, cloud.oracle.com, then click on the platform for platform as a service and select database backup, and then you can select it. I can even perhaps show you this from my computer. If I were to go to the main portal, let me try this from a new window. Okay, this is the main portal to the Oracle Public Cloud. From this, if I click on platform, I have an overview of the many platform services. If I click on database backup, please note it is distinct from the database hosting service proper. But if I click on database backup, I have some description of what we can do, but also I can click on try it. Yeah, I have a detailed information on different models for pricing. I can learn more, or I can try it. And you can here subscribe to a free 30-day trial. So you see it's quite easy to get started on using this service. This being said, I think we may open up for a few questions. So Ruxandra, can you help me to take a few questions?
Yeah, so I would like to ask the people who have questions, to either use the voice, or just simply unmute yourself and ask the question, or use the chat. So we can wait for a few moments to see if we get any questions.
Of course, I think that service is relatively easy to understand, and then perhaps it's clear to everybody how to use it.
I have no questions at the moment, but I will just simply would like to add one thing. For the ones that would like to get the presentation, the access to the presentation, so I don't want to spam anybody, so just drop me a note and ask for the presentation. We also tried to record this session, so if the recording was successful and the quality is good, then we will also be able to provide you the registrations. Recording to the webcast. So I have one question. Can I, as a partner, have some kind of return on this offer with my clients?
I have to humbly say that I am not in the sales organization, and this is really a question for your account manager. I can't really go into any details about pricing, and this is an expertise I do not have. I'm sorry.
Okay. Any other questions? There is a Q&A button that you can use to ask your questions. That's the only question I received so far.
Okay,
so
I can perhaps show you guys, if I can leave this screen, just what the Explorer may look like. The Cloudberry Explorer looks like this. This is the freeware, and even if I do not register, when you select a storage container like this one, where I have taken some backups, you can see, for instance, in file chunk, a directory which is named after the database ID, the DB ID, and in the DB ID, you see the database name and some directories with backup pieces by date, for instance. So only Recovery Manager is able to make sense of those files, but you see that because we have an OpenStack storage container, we can actually use it from this tool, and I can from this tool even create a new storage container. If I go to here and I create a new container named test, what I'm doing here, I'm creating a new container in the Oracle storage service, and from this I can copy a file from my computer. This, for instance, this PDF file, I can just copy into Oracle storage container. So I should see it here. Okay, now it's been uploaded. Okay, it's a mini demo of accessing to the storage container. And this being said, Ruxandra, maybe we can end the session.
Yeah, I have no other questions in the Q&A tab. So yeah, we can close. So thank you so much for joining, and I wish you a very nice weekend. Thank you, Francois.
Thanks, Ruxandra.